The strange princess pointed to a man and said, "This is the man who saved my life." I like now at Marcus Chen wiped the sweat from his face as he stared at the navigation screen. Red warning lights blinked all around him in the small cockpit of his salvaged ship, the Lucky Strike. Outside his window, space looked angry.
Yes.
Massive rocks spun through the darkness, some as big as cities. Lightning made of pure energy jumped between them like deadly fingers. "Computer, remind me why I come to this place again?" Marcus asked out loud. "This sector has a 97% chance of ship destruction," the computer replied in its calm voice. "Most species consider it impossible to navigate safely." Marcus laughed. "That's exactly why I'm here. It's no competition." The asteroid field of Keth-9 was known across the galaxy as the ship graveyard. The rocks moved in strange patterns because of the 3 dead stars that pulled them in different directions. Radiation storms happened without warning. Even the tough Krillian traders who feared nothing stayed away from this place. But humans were different. Other species called them the Mad Ones or the Crazy Builders. While aliens built ships to be safe and follow rules, humans built ships to go anywhere and try anything. Marcus had spent 5 years collecting valuable metals and old technology from the wrecks that drifted here. It was dangerous work, but it paid well. His scanner started beeping. Something big was out there. "Computer, what do you see?" "Unknown." "Vessel detected. Design does not match any known species in the database. Ship appears damaged and drifting." Marcus felt his heart beat faster. An unknown ship could mean new technology. New technology meant money. Lots of money. How damaged? He asked, "Life support systems are failing. Hull has multiple holes. The ship will break apart completely in approximately 4 hours." Marcus thought about this. 4 hours was not much time. The radiation storm season was starting, and his ship was not built for long stays in this field. The smart thing would be to mark the location and come back later with a bigger crew. But Marcus had learned something important in his 5 years of salvage work. Later usually meant never. Other scavengers would find it, or the radiation would destroy it, or the asteroids would crush it. "Set course for the unknown ship," he said. "Warning, approaching the vessel will require flying through a Class 5 radiation zone. Ship's shielding may not hold." "Computer, do you know what separates humans from every other species in the galaxy? Please specify the context of your question." Marcus smiled as he took control of the ship. "We're too stupid to know when something is impossible." The Lucky Strike moved forward into the swirling chaos of rocks and energy. Marcus had to use all his skill to avoid the spinning asteroids. His hands moved quickly over the controls, making tiny adjustments every few seconds. The ship shook and groaned as radiation hit the shields. After 30 minutes of careful flying, Marcus saw the unknown ship. It was beautiful and strange. The hull looked like it was made of metal and crystal mixed together. Strange symbols glowed weakly along its sides. The ship was about the size of a small transport, but its design was unlike anything Marcus had ever seen. "Computer, any signs of life?" Detecting one life form aboard the vessel. "Life signs are very weak," Marcus felt. His stomach drop. Someone was alive on that ship. Someone was dying. He could leave. He should leave. His ship was not equipped for rescue missions. He did not have medical equipment for alien biology. Did not even know if the life form was friendly. But Marcus remembered something his grandfather had told him long ago. "Son, what makes us human is not that we're the strongest or the smartest. It's that we help each other, even when it's hard. Computer, prepare the docking tube. I'm going aboard." Marcus. "This action greatly increases the risk to your own survival." "Yeah, I know. Do it anyway." Marcus put on his environmental suit and checked his oxygen supply. He had 6 hours of air. That should be enough. The docking was difficult. The alien ship was spinning slowly, and Marcus had to match its movement perfectly. It took him 20 minutes, but finally he heard the click of a successful connection. The alien ship's airlock was different from human designs, but Marcus figured it out. When the door opened, he stepped into a world of wonder and terror. The inside of the ship glowed with soft light. that seemed to come from the walls themselves. Everything was curved and smooth like the inside of a shell. But the ship was dying. Sparks flew from broken panels, and strange smoke filled the air. Marcus followed his scanner toward the life sign. He found the survivor in what looked like a command center. The being was lying on the floor next to a chair that seemed to be made of the same crystal metal as the ship. Marcus had seen many alien species in his years of salvage work, but this one was completely new. The being looked somewhat human in shape, but its skin was like living crystal that changed colors slowly from blue to purple to silver. It wore no clothes, but strange metal devices were attached to its arms and head like they were part of its body. The being was barely breathing. A pool of liquid that might have been blood spread slowly across the floor. It was silver and seemed to glow. "Computer, can you scan this life form?" Marcus asked through his suit radio. "Biology is completely unknown. However, the being appears to be in critical condition. Without immediate medical attention, death will occur within 2 hours." Marcus looked around the alien ship. He could see that its power was failing. The lights were getting dimmer, and the temperature was dropping fast. If he stayed here trying to help, they would both die. But if he moved the alien to his ship, he might be able to keep it alive long enough to reach a medical station. It was a big risk. His ship's life support was designed for one human, not 2 beings. Marcus made his choice. He carefully lifted the alien being in his arms. It was surprisingly light, and its crystal skin felt warm even through his gloves. As he touched it, the colors in its skin swirled faster, like it was responding to his presence. "Hold on," Marcus whispered, even though he knew the alien probably could not understand him. "I'm getting you out of here." The trip back to his ship was the longest walk of Marcus's life. Every step might be his last if his suit failed or if the alien died in his arms. But Marcus kept moving, driven by something deeper than logic or profit. As he placed the alien in his ship's medical bay and began sharing his life support systems, Marcus realized he had just changed his life forever. He was no longer just a salvage operator. He was now responsible for keeping alive a being from a species that did not exist in any database. The Lucky Strike turned away from the dying alien ship and began the long journey to the nearest medical station. In the medical bay, the crystal-skinned being lay unconscious, its colors slowly shifting like a rainbow trapped in living glass. Marcus had no idea that he had just saved a princess. He had no idea that her people were planning to destroy every organic life form in the galaxy. He had no idea that his simple act of kindness would soon make him the most important human alive. All Marcus knew was that someone needed help, and he could not walk away. That, more than anything else, was what made him human. The journey to Outpost Meridian took 3 days. 3 days of Marcus watching his oxygen levels drop and his power reserves drain as he kept the mysterious alien alive. The being lay still in his medical bay, connected to every life support system his small ship could provide. Her crystal skin had stopped changing colors and remained a dull gray that worried Marcus greatly. "Computer, life sign status?" Marcus asked for the 100th time. "Stable, but extremely weak. The being's biology remains unknown. I cannot determine if current treatment is helping or harming the patient." Marcus rubbed his tired eyes. He had not slept properly in 2 days. Every few hours he checked on his passenger, adjusting the oxygen mix and temperature based on nothing more than guesswork and hope. When Outpost Meridian finally appeared on his screens, Marcus felt relief wash over him. The medical station was built into a large asteroid and served as a neutral healing center for dozens of species. If anyone could help his mysterious passenger, it would be the doctors here. Dr. Yuki Tanaka, the chief medical officer, met Marcus at the docking bay. She was one of the few other humans at the station, and Marcus was glad to see a familiar face. "Marcus, what have you brought me this time?" Dr. Tanaka asked as they rushed toward the medical bay. "I honestly don't know," Marcus replied. "Found her floating in a damaged ship in the Keth-9 field. I'd never seen anything like her before." Dr. Tanaka stopped walking when she saw the alien. Her eyes grew wide with amazement. "Marcus, this being is not in any medical database I know." "Look at it. this skin structure. It's like living crystal, but it has organic properties too. And these devices attached to her body, they're not implants. They're part of her natural biology. For the next 6 hours, Dr. Tanaka and her team worked to understand the alien's needs. They discovered that she breathed a mixture of gases. That was toxic to most species, but her body could somehow process human oxygen as well. Her blood was indeed silver and carried energy instead of nutrients in ways that made no scientific sense. Marcus waited in the observation room, drinking bad coffee and wondering if he had made a terrible mistake. What if this being was dangerous? What if saving her put everyone on the station at risk? Then everything changed. The alien's eyes opened. They were like looking into deep water filled with stars. She sat up slowly on the medical table, and her skin began to shift colors again. First silver, then blue, then a warm golden hue. She looked around the room with obvious confusion. Then her gaze found Marcus through the observation window. For a moment, their eyes met, and Marcus felt something strange pass between them. Recognition, perhaps, or gratitude. The alien tried to speak, but the sounds that came from her throat were like music mixed with wind chimes. The universal translator in the room struggled to make sense of the language. Unknown language detected, the translator announced, attempting to build translation matrix. Dr. Tanaka approached the alien carefully. "Can you understand me?" she asked. The alien's head tilted slightly, and she spoke again. This time, the translator managed a few words. Safe, ... gratitude, ... y ... Over the next hour, the alien's grasp of their language improved rapidly. It became clear that her species had incredible learning abilities. Soon she was speaking in broken but understandable sentences. "I am ... alive," she said, her voice like singing crystal. "You saved ... me. Why?" Marcus entered the medical bay. "Because you needed help," he said simply. The alien stared at him with those star-filled eyes. "You did not know? If I lived? You risked ... your life ... for unknown being." "That's what people do," Marcus replied. "When someone needs help, you help them." The alien's skin shifted to deep purple, then back to gold. "Your species ... does this?" "Humans try to help each other," Marcus said. "It's not always perfect, but we try." The alien was quiet for a long moment. When she spoke again, her voice was stronger and clearer. "I must tell you truth. I am Princess Zarathal of the Nexari Empire. My people ... they are not like yours. They do not help strangers. They do not risk themselves for others." Akka felt his heart skip. Princess, Empire, he had rescued royalty. The Nexari Princess Zarathal continued, "We transcended physical form long ago. We exist as pure consciousness in these biomechanical bodies. We believe organic life is ... primitive, inferior, limited." Dr. Tanaka leaned forward. "Transcended? You mean you're not originally biological?" "No. We gave up flesh and emotion thousands of years ago. We became beings of pure thought and energy. We believed this made us perfect." Princess Zarathal. Skin turned dark blue. "But I discovered something terrible. The Nexari Council plans to harvest the consciousness of all organic species in this galaxy. They want to absorb your minds to fuel their expansion into new dimensions." Marcus felt cold fear run through him. "Harvest, you mean? Kill every living thing and take their thoughts for power?" the princess said sadly. "They see organic beings as fuel, nothing more." "I tried to warn the council that this was wrong, but they declared me defective, broken. They sent me away to be ... repaired." "But you escaped," Dr. Tanaka said. "Yes, but my own people sabotaged my ship. I was meant to die in that radiation storm." Princess Zarathal looked directly at Marcus. "No Nexari would have saved me as you did. We do not understand sacrifice for strangers. We do not comprehend helping those who cannot help us in return." Marcus sat down heavily. "So your people are coming to destroy everyone in the galaxy?" "Yes. They have weapons beyond your understanding, ships that can phase through matter. Technology that turns entire planets into energy. Wait, The invasion begins. Soon? Then why are you telling us this? Dr. Tanaka asked. Princess Zarathal's skin became bright gold again, because in 3 days with this human, I have learned something my people forgot. When Marcus saved me, I felt something I had never experienced, what you call gratitude. Watching him risk his life for mine without expecting anything in return, I began to understand what we lost when we gave up organic life. She stood up from the medical table, moving with graceful beauty. The Nexari believe organic life is weak because you feel emotions, because you help each other, because you sacrifice for those you love. But I think these things make you strong in ways we cannot comprehend. Marcus looked at this alien princess, who glowed like living. Starlight, what do you want to do about it? I want to learn more about what makes you human, she said. And then I want to try to save both our species from the terrible mistake my people are about to make. Dr. Tanaka activated the emergency communication system. I'm calling the Galactic Council. They need to know about this threat. But Marcus was thinking about something else. He looked at Princess Zarathal, who had risked everything to warn them about her own people. You could have stayed quiet, he said. You could have let this happen and been safe. Princess Zarathal smiled, and Marcus realized it was the first time he had seen her do that. When she smiled, her whole body glowed with warm light. I did, she said, but you taught me something, Marcus Chen. You taught me that sometimes doing the right thing is more important than being safe. Marcus felt something change in his chest. Looking at this beautiful, dangerous, incredible being, he realized that saving her life might have been the most important thing he would ever do. The question now was, would it be enough to save everyone else? The alarm started screaming at 0300 station time. Marcus woke up in his small guest quarters, 2 red lights flashing and an automated voice repeating, all personnel to emergency stations. Unknown ships detected. This is not a drill. Marcus ran to the command center where he found chaos. Station officers were shouting at each other while data flowed across dozens of screens. Dr. Tanaka was already there with Princess Zarathal, looked pale and frightened. What's happening? Marcus asked. Commander Ross, the station chief, pointed at the main display. 3 ships just appeared out of nowhere. No jump signatures, no energy readings, nothing. They're just ... there. Marcus looked at the screen and felt his blood turn cold. The ships were beautiful and terrible at the same time. They looked like they were made of flowing metal and light, constantly changing shape. As he watched, one of the ships simply passed through a large asteroid as if it was made of air. Nexari, Princess, Zarathal whispered. They found me. How is that possible? Dr. Tanaka asked. You said your people didn't know where you were. I thought they didn't. But they must have been tracking my biosignature somehow. The princess's skin turned dark blue with fear. Commander Ross, you must evacuate this station immediately. Evacuate, Commander Ross laughed. Lady, this station has defense shields. That can stop anything. We've been here for 30 years without a problem. Princess Zarathal grabbed his arm. You don't understand. The Nexari don't fight like other species. Watch. On the screen, one of the strange ships moved closer to the asteroid it had passed through. Suddenly, the entire rock, bigger than most cities, simply disappeared. Where it had been, there was only empty space and a brief flash of energy. They converted it to pure energy, the princess explained. The asteroid is now part of their ship's power supply. The command center fell silent. Commander Ross stared at the screen with his mouth open. How do we fight something like that? Dr. Tanaka asked. You can't, Princess, Zarathal said sadly. That's why I have to reach the Galactic Council. They need to know what's coming. Marcus was thinking fast. How long before those ships reach us? At their current speed, about 2 hours, an officer reported. Can we evacuate in 2 hours? Marcus asked. Commander Ross shook his head. We have 3,000 people on this station. It would take at least 6 hours to get everyone off safely. Princess Zarathal's skin turned bright red, and many will die because of me. The Nexari will destroy this station and everyone on it, just to make sure I cannot escape again. Marcus looked at her glowing face. Even in fear, she was the most beautiful thing he had ever seen. But more than that, He could see the pain in her star-filled eyes. She was suffering because good people might die trying to protect her. There has to be another way, Marcus said. There is, Princess Zerathal replied. I surrender myself to them. They take me back for reprogramming, and they leave this station alone. No, Marcus said immediately. Absolutely not. The princess looked at him with surprise. But it would save thousands of lives, and lose the only person who can warn the galaxy about what's coming, Marcus replied. Besides, would they really leave the station alone? Or would they destroy it anyway to cover their tracks? Princess Zerathal was quiet for a moment. They would destroy it, she admitted. Nexari, do not leave witnesses. Commander Ross was frantically working with his staff. All civilian ships are launching now. We're loading as many people as possible. Marcus watched the evacuation begin on the security screens. Families running with children in their arms. Workers leaving behind everything they owned, all because an alien princess had dared to have feelings her people considered wrong. Tell me more about your people, Marcus said to Princess Zerathal. Help me understand how they think. The princess sat down heavily in a chair. When the Nexari transcended physical form, we believed we had achieved perfection. No more pain, no more fear, no more death. We could live forever as pure consciousness. Sounds pretty good, Dr. Tanaka said. We thought so too. But we lost something important when we gave up our organic bodies. We lost the ability to feel real connection to others. We stopped caring about anyone except ourselves. Marcus leaned forward. But you care now. You care about the people on this station. Yes, the princess said, her skin glowing warm gold. And I don't understand why. 3 days with you has changed something inside me. When I see these people running for their lives, I feel ... hurt, pain that is not my own. That's called empathy, Dr. Tanaka said gently. It's what makes organic life special. My people would say it makes organic life weak, Princess Zerathal replied. They believe that caring about others holds you back from achieving true power. Marcus thought about this. But you don't think that anymore. No. I watched you risk your life to save a complete stranger. You gained nothing from helping me. In fact, you've lost time, money, and put yourself in danger. By Nexari logic, your action was completely illogical. But Princess Zerathal smiled, and again her whole body glowed. But your illogical action saved my life and opened my eyes to something beautiful. If caring about others is weakness, then I want to be weak. On the main screen, the Nexari ships were getting closer. Marcus could see other vessels in the distance, merchant ships, mining transports, and patrol craft, all fleeing from the advancing aliens. Commander and officer called out, We're getting reports from across the sector. The aliens have destroyed 6 ships already. They're not just hunting the princess. They're eliminating everyone who might have seen them. They're clearing witnesses, Princess Zerathal said grimly. Making sure no one can warn the galaxy about the invasion. Marcus felt anger building in his chest. These Nexari thought they could just wipe out innocent people like they were nothing. They saw organic life as so inferior that killing thousands was just a small cleanup job. How many Nexari are coming? He asked. The invasion fleet has millions of ships, the princess replied. But this hunting group is probably just a few dozen. They're scouts, making sure the way is clear. Marcus looked at the evacuation status. Only half the station's population had escaped so far. At this rate, hundreds would still be aboard when the Nexari arrived. Princess, he said, you said your people don't understand sacrifice or empathy. What if we showed them something they've never seen before? What do you mean? Marcus was forming a crazy plan. It was dangerous and probably impossible, but it was the kind of thing humans did when everything else failed. What if we didn't run? What if we did something so unexpected, so completely illogical by their standards, that it confused them long enough for everyone to escape? Princess Zerathal stared at him. You're talking about facing Nexari hunters. They could turn you into energy with a thought. Maybe, but you said they don't understand organic behavior. They expect logical responses. What if we gave them something completely illogical instead? Dr. Tanaka looked between them. What exactly are you planning? Marcus smiled. the same reckless smile he wore when flying through impossible asteroid fields. I'm planning to do what humans do best, which is something so crazy that it just might work. On the screen, the Nexari ships were now only 1 hour away. The evacuation continued, but time was running out. Marcus looked at Princess Zarathal, who was glowing brighter as her emotions grew stronger. Are you willing to trust me one more time? He asked. The princess looked into his eyes. You saved my life when you had no reason to. You taught me what it means to care about others. Yes, Marcus Chen. I trust you. Marcus turned to Commander. Ross, I need to get back to my ship. I need the princess to come with me. That's suicide, the commander protested. No, Marcus replied, watching the beautiful, deadly ships approach on the screen. That's human. Marcus's hands moved quickly over the controls of the Lucky Strike as they raced away from Outpost Meridian. Behind them, the station was still evacuating people as fast as possible. Ahead of them lay the most dangerous place in known space. Marcus, please explain this plan again, Princess Zarathal said from the co-pilot seat. Her skin was shifting between gold and silver, showing her nervousness. The Nexari ships are using the dying Helio system as their staging ground, right? Marcus asked while checking his navigation computer. Yes. The 3 collapsing stars create energy distortions that hide their fleet from long-range scanners. It's the perfect place to gather ships without being detected. Marcus smiled. And that's exactly why we're going there. Duh. But Marcus, the Helio system is impossible to navigate. Gravitational forces from 3 dying stars pull in different directions. Ships get torn apart just trying to enter the system. Ships designed by other species get torn apart, Marcus corrected. But humans build ships differently. We build them to survive anything. Princess Zarathal looked around the small, cramped cockpit of the Lucky Strike. Compared to the smooth, perfect ships of her people, Marcus's vessel looked rough and basic. Pipes and wires were visible everywhere. Nothing was hidden or made pretty. This ship does not look very advanced, she said carefully, not wanting to hurt his feelings. Marcus laughed. It's because you're thinking like a Nexari. You see ugly and basic. I see reliable and fixable. Watch this. He flipped several switches, and suddenly the walls around them lit up with displays showing every system in the ship. Princess Zarathal could see power flowing, engines working, shields charging. Everything was visible and could be controlled. From the pilot seat, their species hide their ship systems behind pretty panels, Marcus explained. But humans need to see what's happening. We need to be able to fix things quickly when they break. And trust me, in the Helio system, things will break. The computer started beeping warnings as they approached the edge of the dying star system. Multiple gravitational anomalies detected. Recommend immediate course change. Computer, show me the gravitational map, Marcus ordered. A 3-dimensional image appeared in front of them. Princess Zarathal gasped at what she saw. The space around the 3 dying stars was like an ocean in a terrible storm. Waves of gravity crashed into each other, creating whirlpools of force that could crush any ship. This is madness, she whispered. No pilot could navigate through this chaos. You're right, Marcus agreed. No normal pilot could. But I've spent 5 years flying through impossible places. I know how to read gravity storms. He pointed at the swirling display. See there? The 3 gravity wells create a pattern. Looks random, but it's not. Every 17 minutes, the pattern repeats. About 90 seconds, there's a safe path through the outer edge. Princess Zarathal studied the display. Even with her advanced mind, she could barely see the pattern Marcus was pointing out. How did you learn to see this? Practice and stubbornness. The first rule of human engineering, if something seems impossible, try it anyway and see what happens. The ship shuddered as they entered the outer gravity field. Marcus's hands moved constantly over the controls, making tiny adjustments every few seconds. Princess Zarathal watched in amazement as he somehow found safe paths through. Forces that should have crushed them instantly. Tell me more about your people, Marcus said as he piloted through a particularly dangerous section. Help me understand what we're really facing. But Princess Zarathal was quiet for a moment, watching Marcus work. His concentration was perfect. His movements precise. She was beginning to understand that humans had abilities her people had never considered. When the Nexari first transcended, she began, we were proud of what we had achieved. No more physical weakness. No more emotional pain. No more death. We thought we had become gods, but something went wrong. Marcus asked while avoiding a gravity whirlpool that could have swallowed their ship. We became ... empty, without physical bodies. We lost the ability to truly feel. Without the risk of death, life became meaningless. We started seeking new experiences, new forms of consciousness to study and absorb, and that led to harvesting other species. Yes, at first, we only took consciousness from species that were already dying. We told ourselves we were preserving their thoughts and memories, but it was never enough. We wanted more complexity, more diversity of thought. Marcus navigated around a solar flare that erupted from one of the dying stars. The radiation would have killed most organic beings instantly, but his ship's shields held. So, you decided to take consciousness from living species, he said. The council decided. I was not sure it was right even then, but I didn't understand why until I met you. Princess Zarathal's skin glowed bright gold.
When you saved
my life, I felt something I had never experienced. Gratitude, wonder, and something else. ... What? Affection. Care for another being that asks nothing in return? My people would say these emotions make me defective. But they make me feel more alive than I have ever felt. Marcus looked at her glowing face and felt something warm spread. Through his chest, you're not defective. You're becoming who you're supposed to be. The ship's alarms started screaming as they passed deeper into the system. Through the front window, they could see the Nexari fleet. Hundreds of ships that looked like flowing metal and light, all gathered around a massive structure that seemed to be made of pure energy. There, Princess Zarathal pointed. That's the command nexus. From there, they coordinate the entire invasion plan. Marcus studied the enemy fleet. Ships moved in perfect formation, like they were all controlled by one mind. There was no chaos, no individual decision-making, no emotion, just cold, perfect efficiency. They really are different from us, he murmured. Yes, they cannot understand why you would risk your life for a stranger.
Oh.
They cannot comprehend sacrifice for an ideal. To them, such actions are signs of mental illness. Marcus smiled as an idea formed in his mind. Then let's show them something that will really confuse them. What do you mean? You said the Galactic Council needs to know about the invasion, right? And the only way to reach them is to get past this fleet? Yes, but Marcus, there are hundreds of ships out there. We cannot fight them. We're not going to fight them, Marcus said, adjusting course toward the heart of the fleet. We're going to do something so completely crazy that they're logical. Minds won't know how to respond. Princess Zarathal watched in horror as Marcus steered directly toward the largest concentration of enemy ships. This is suicide. No, this is human. Computer. Open all communication channels. I want every ship in this system to hear what I'm about to say, Marcus. What are you doing? Marcus looked at the beautiful alien princess who had taught him that courage and compassion could exist in any species. I'm going to offer them a trade they won't understand. While they're trying to figure it out, we're going to slip past them and save the galaxy. The lucky strike flew deeper into the impossible chaos of the Helio system. Carrying two beings who had learned that sometimes the greatest strength comes from caring about others more than yourself, behind them, the Nexari fleet detected their approach and began moving to intercept, but they had never dealt with a human pilot before, and they had no idea what Marcus was planning to do next.
Oh, yeah.
In the swirling chaos of dying stars and alien fleets, a small human ship was about to prove that the best plans are the ones that make no sense at all. Attention, Nexari fleet. Marcus spoke into the communication system as his ship flew directly toward the enemy vessels. This is Marcus Chen of the human vessel Lucky Strike. I'm here to make you an offer. Princess Zarathal stared at him in shock. Marcus, what are you doing? Something completely illogical, he replied with a grin. On the screen, they could see the Nexar ships beginning to move. The perfect formations started to shift as the fleet tried to understand why the ship was flying straight at them instead of running away. A voice like cold wind answered through the speakers. Human vessel, you carry the defective unit Zarathol. Surrender her immediately or be destroyed. Here's my counteroffer, Marcus said calmly. I'll trade myself for safe passage to the Galactic Council for the Princess. The silence that followed was so complete that Princess Zarathol could hear her own heartbeat. Marcus, no, she cried, her skin flashing bright red. I won't let you sacrifice yourself for me. Explain your proposal, human, the Nexari voice finally said. Marcus kept his eyes on the approaching ships. You want to study organic consciousness? Right? Well, I'm volunteering. Take my mind, study it, do whatever you want with it. Let Princess Zarathol reach the council first. Princess Zarathol grabbed his arm. This is exactly what I was talking about. You're willing to die for someone else, and you gain nothing from it. I gain everything, Marcus said softly, looking into her star-filled eyes. I gain the knowledge that you'll be safe, and that the galaxy might have a chance. Through the speakers, they could hear multiple Nexari voices talking in their musical language. The princess listened and translated. They're confused, she said. They can't understand why you would make this offer. Some think it's a trap. Others think you're mentally damaged. Could keep them confused. Marcus was flying an intricate path through the fleet now, using the gravitational chaos of the dying stars to his advantage. The Nexari ships, designed for perfection and order, struggled to predict his movements through the unpredictable gravity fields. Human, the cold voice spoke again. Your offer is illogical. You will die, and we will capture the defective unit anyway. Maybe Marcus agreed, but maybe not. Maybe I'll do something else. That doesn't make sense. Maybe I'll fly my ship directly into your command nexus and blow up your whole operation. Princess Zarathol looked at him with growing amazement. You're making them think about possibilities they've never considered. Nexari minds work on pure logic. When faced with truly irrational behavior, they have to stop and calculate all possible outcomes. And while they're calculating ... Marcus said, suddenly changing course and accelerating toward the edge of the system. The human vessel is attempting escape. The Nexari voice shouted. No, Marcus, replied into the communicator. I'm doing something much worse than escaping. I'm going to tell everyone in the galaxy about you. The Nexari fleet began to pursue, but Marcus had gained precious time with his confusing offer. A ship, built for navigating impossible conditions, slipped through gravity fields that the perfect Nexari vessels couldn't follow safely. How long until we reach the jump point? Princess Zarathol asked. 3 minutes. But they'll catch us before then. Marcus, I need to tell you something, she said, her skin glowing bright gold. In 3 days with you, I've learned more about being alive than in 3,000 years as a Nexari. You showed me what it means to care about others. You taught me that feelings make us stronger, not weaker. Marcus felt his heart racing, and not just from the chase. Zara single quotes. If we don't survive this, I want you to know that meeting you changed everything for me. You saved my life, but more than that, you saved my soul. Energy beams started flashing past their ship as the Nexari closed the distance. Marcus pushed his engines to maximum power, but it wasn't enough. Jump point in 30 seconds. Marcus called out. They're too close, Princess Zarathol said sadly. They'll follow us through the jump. Then something unexpected happened. Other ships began appearing on their scanners. Dozens of them, flying in from all directions. The evacuation ships from Outpost Meridian had regrouped and come back. Is Commander Ross, came a familiar voice over the radio. Nobody shoots at our people and gets away with it. Commander, get out of here, Marcus shouted. Those ships will destroy you. Maybe, but we're humans too, son. Humans don't abandon. They're friends. The small fleet of civilian ships, medical transports, cargo haulers, mining vessels, opened fire on the pursuing Nexari. Their weapons were weak, and their ships were slow, but they had something the Nexari didn't expect: complete willingness to sacrifice themselves for others. The Nexari fleet, faced with another completely illogical situation, had to split their attention between multiple targets. In their confusion, Marcus and Princess Zarathol reached the jump point. Jump successful, the computer announced, approaching Galactic Council space. Hours later, they stood in the great chamber of the Galactic Council. Representatives from 100 worlds filled the enormous room, their attention focused on the two figures at the center. Princess Zarathal, glowing like a living star, stood beside Marcus as she addressed the assembly. Honored representative, she began, her voice carrying clearly through the chamber. I am Princess Zarathal of the Nexari Empire. I come before you two warn of a great danger approaching our galaxy. She explained the Nexari invasion plans, their technology, and their view of organic life as inferior fuel for their expansion. The assembled representatives listened in growing horror. But I also come to tell you about hope, she continued. 3 days ago I was dying in space, alone and forgotten by my own people. This man, she pointed to Marcus, risked his life to save mine, though he knew nothing about me. He shared his ship's life support, his food, his safety, expecting nothing in return. Her skin blazed with golden light. This is the man who saved my life. I like now it. The universal translator struggled with her words, but her meaning was clear. She had learned to love the emotions and connections that made organic life precious. The Nexari believe that caring for others makes you weak, she said. But I've learned the opposite is true. When beings choose to help each other, to sacrifice for strangers, to love without expecting reward, they become stronger than any individual consciousness could ever be. Marcus stepped forward. The princess is right. Humans aren't the strongest species or the smartest. But we have something that transcended beings seem to lose. We care about each other. And when someone needs help, we help them. Princess Zarathal took his hand, her crystalline fingers intertwining with his. I propose an alliance, not just of weapons and ships, but of hearts and minds. Let the Nexari come with their perfect logic and cold efficiency. They will face something they cannot understand or defeat, a galaxy full of beings who choose to care. The chamber erupted in discussion as representatives from dozens of worlds began planning their defense. But Marcus was looking at Princess Zarathal, who was glowing brighter than he had ever seen her. So what happens now? He asked. Now we show the galaxy that love is stronger than logic, she replied. And maybe, if we're very lucky, we save everyone. Marcus smiled. Sounds like something humans would try to do. Yes, Princess Zarathal said, her whole being radiating warmth and light. It does. In the great chamber of the Galactic Council, two beings from different worlds stood together, proving that the strangest and most powerful force in the universe wasn't advanced technology or transcendent consciousness. It was simply caring enough to help a stranger in need.